In this video, we'll be going over the Warzone Season 2 patch notes. We're going to get through this really quickly, so if you do enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to sub to the channel. We'll try to reach our goal 50k subscribers. Click the link in the description down below and subscribe to our second channel. But let's get through this. We've got new gameplay features. We've got Nebula V ammo. We've also got the portable decontamination stations, which allow you to sit inside the gas. We'll need to see how this plays out, if I'm being perfectly honest. It's kind of a weird addition into the game. We've got the new bomber planes. These might be OP, to be perfectly honest, so we'll just need to see, because the other fighter planes that were added in with Caldera were pretty overpowered when they were in the game. We've got the new locations, chemical factory, and the research labs, which have been added in as well. And these are kind of more like bunkers, and I'm interested to see if chemical factory is going to be like a separate section of the map or if they're replacing some parts. We've got the new game modes, Caldera Clash, Rebirth Reinforced, and the Iron Trials on Rebirth as well. Then when it comes to events, I don't really care too much about this, but this is just talking about the new limited time modes. When it comes to actual game modes and stuff like that, again, they're going over that right here with Caldera Clash, with the updates and stuff to that. But when it comes to regular Battle Royale, which is what I'm most interested in, they've changed this about to make it more like the original Verdanks, basically. So they've got supply choppers, fire sale, jailbreak, no public events during the infill. We've got recon, bounty, most wanted, scavenger, supply run, economy rebalance, and ground loot changes. Vanguard Royale will basically be slightly different as well. So they've expedited the loadout drop event from the start of the second circle to the first of the circle in Vanguard Royale only. Then no stun grenades in loadouts, so that is restricted. Thermites allowed in loadouts, that is unrestricted. So they've made slight adjustments, obviously, to make these two gameplays quite different. So we've got heavy weapon drops, cash drops, fire sales, all that kind of stuff. So we've got UAVs removed from the buy station. UAVs are available as contract rewards. So these game modes will be very, very different, which is going to be really interesting to see which one people actually play more. Dead silence has been removed from ground loot. Stuns have been removed from ground loot. Thermites have been added in. UAVs added to ground loot. Economy rebalance as well. And the ground loot's changed too. So we've got the new sections of the map here as well. Then we've got gameplay, redeploy balloons. So some general updates here. We've got ground loot. So weapons that spawn across Caldera have been adjusted for ground loot, supply boxes, contract rewards. Dead silence is now classified as a legendary orange loot, and update to several modes that rebalances the ground loot as well. Now we've got some huge gameplay adjustments here. So we've got, while stunned on controller, aim assist will now scale appropriately and will not cause unintended increase in aim assist strength. So people on controller are going to struggle when it comes to getting stunned. Armor plating will now prioritize refilling one armor plate. So you're no longer going to be filling half an armor plate. You're going to fill the full one, and then if you've obviously on your final one, you can then stack up on armor plates. The best way, in my opinion. It just kind of makes perfect sense this way. Players can exit the ascender with a jump button. Added a prompt to exit the ascender whilst ascending, which is really cool to see now. You don't need to just die whilst you're on the ascender the whole time. Gas mask animation will no longer happen when you're aimed down sight, so that's really amazing to see. Whilst in the gas mask will still deplete in ADS, obviously that kind of makes sense. The animation will no longer interrupt and wait for the player to go back to hip fire before equipping. Kind of like a weird thing here. So basically you have to be ADS still, so even if you're firing, I suppose it still allows you to fire. So I think this might be a really good change. Players will now take damage as normal whilst they are ADSing without their gas mask equipped. So this is cool to see. Gasoline canister will no longer detonate by a stun grenade, and can now be thrown through glass windows. Gulags, footsteps of spectators will be less audible. I feel like they should just remove it entirely. That should be a kind of main thing, in my opinion. I don't know why they've kind of just made it less audible if they were looking into this, but they said they will be looking into this further into the season, so hopefully they just remove it entirely. That'll be really handy. Increased mantle height for improved vertical navigation. This is really amazing to see once again. Various map improvements to get around the map. Various improvements to visuals, texture streaming when traversing on consoles. So this is going to be really, really good for console players as well. Parachutes are now the same speed going forwards as going sideways, so you can parachute quicker now. Can now be pulled at a lower vertical height. So I wonder what the height actually is. Hopefully it's not going to basically spam like if you're trying to like double jump or do a bunny hop or something. So we'll just need to wait and see. can now be pulled sooner after exiting the info plane, so you can glide farther away as well. That'd be really cool to see, and can now be cut closer to the ground. So all these changes are really good so far. Vehicle adjustments reduced, in some instances collisions with various world assets, improved ground vehicle traversal. This is mainly for the new Pacific weapons. Fighter plane health has been slightly reduced, weapon damage has been reduced. This is really good actually. Fighter planes are no longer to auto target, thank god. Collision has been adjusted as well. Anti-aircraft guns, the flak damage range has been increased. All heat is cleared once over here. Heat is cooled down. I never really use this. I don't really know what this is. Heat dissipation rate has been increased. So this is once the gun pretty much overheats. Squad transport, improved handling speed and off-road performance for pretty much every vehicle. Is that what I think it is? Utility truck, improved speed handling and all that kind of stuff. So this is for the Pacific vehicles because they were really bad. UI and all those kind of changes. Updates to play tab, making it easier to see kind of the rebirth drop downs, just for more convenience. The prompt for dropping a single plate of armor is now drop single instead of drop stack, which is really good. Pause screen now displays running events. So this is going to be, for example, if it's going to be any limited time modes, or if there's going to be any weapon XP that you've got on. The tram and capital will now show an attack map so you don't die from it. Show controls as fading behavior added on the UI for Warzone vehicles. You can now disable this menu in the settings. Added pitch up and pitch down keybinds to the airplane as well. In-match splash screens messages will now be displayed for spectators, especially with like damage and stuff. There's a lot of things in here actually. So there's Assault Rifle Charlie for Vanguard, there's a Sten, there's a Light Machine Gun Charlie, there's the DP27 Whale Gun, and we've got the Sawtooth, we've got the Rat, again, we've got the Cooper Carbine, no that's the Cooper 21. Please check out the Trello board. We've got new weapons, the KGM40 which is an assault rifle, we've got the Light Machine Gun which is the Whitley. We've got new unlock challenges for the previous new weapons, weapon adjustments here as well. Oh my god, there's so much stuff here. So we've got down from will always indicate a negative effect, or up from will always indicate a positive effect. So this is just to give everyone an idea of what's actually happening. So the ADS speed has been decreased on Assault Rifle Alpha, which I think is the STG. Then we've got the Black Ops Cold War, so recoil deviations increased and recoil magnitudes increased. So the nerf, the C58, the Volk ADS speed has been decreased as well, so made it slower. So that's going to be a bit annoying because the ADS times on all the assault rifles is kind of getting a bit slower here. Lower torso multiplier, so this is going to get nerfed in terms of damage. Then we've got the upper arm multiplier decreased, the lower arm multiplier decreased, the right upper arm multiplier decreased. So just overall a nerf to the DP27. M1 Garand recoil behavior adjusted. I feel like they've actually made this better, I think, to be fair. Sniper rifle, so the ADS speed has been increased. So they're actually making the ADS speed faster, not by much, which is kind of a bit annoying to see, but we'll need to wait and see. Aim down sight movement speed has been increased, gun bop has been decreased, movement speed increased. So overall, just kind of like a movement buff to the 3-line rifle. ADS speed buff to the Grenko anti-tank. ADS speed has been decreased on the Vanguard Car 98K, so they've actually made this slower, which is a bit weird. This is probably one of the faster ones. There are two parts which compromise the stats, that comprise the stats of the Car 98 Vanguard: the weapon and the base optic. In the case of the Car 98 for Vanguard, much of its ADS speed stats were coming from its optics. We decided to take that ADS speed and spread it out more evenly amongst the attachments. That is not a cool thing to see at all, actually. The end result is a more consistent range of ADS speeds that will not vary wildly depending on the optic alone. When considered the changes of the optics to other attachments, this result in a net increase to the ADS speed. So basically they spread out how the ADS works on all the attachments, but I don't know if this just means overall the ADS speed will be the same for the best build, but that's something we'll probably need to test anyway. Again, they made the ADS on the Type 99 faster. So, I mean, overall, the sniper rifles did get a buff, but the Kar 98, from the looks of things. But like I said, we'll need to test the best builds to see what they actually do. Now, here we go. Submachine Gun Charlie, which I do think is the MP40. So the minimum damage range is being decreased and the mid damage range is being decreased as well. I feel like they should have kind of nerfed a bit more, especially when it comes to limb damage on the MP40, but we'll just need to see because I feel like this gun is super powerful right now. Type 100 gun kick adjusted, so that's going to be kind of like the starting kind of recoil of the weapon. Well gun, the maximum damage range is decreased as well, and the mid damage range is decreased as well. So with the well gun and the MP40, they pretty much just got a nerf to the damage range, so you can still use them really well up close. So cleared up pro and con and stat bar inconsistencies for most Vanguard attachments. I mean, it wasn't really accurate to begin with, so who really cares? Incendiary Vanguard, the base burn damage has been decreased. Thank God for this, by the way, because I hate the incendiary rounds. No longer decreases damage range by 5%, so it's kind of like a buff and a nerf. Oh yeah, okay, so the bullet velocity has been increased by 10% down from 30%. So as a result of Lengthen's monopoly over bullet velocity on Vanguard attachments, build diversity and weapon viability take a bit of a hit. By shifting bullet velocity into a wider variety of attachments, we have aimed to provide more viable builds. So they've probably moved the bullet velocity stat into other attachments of the guns. So we'll just need to wait and see how this kind of plays out, because I feel like they've changed a lot in this. ADS speed increased by 7%, up from 5%. Bullet velocity decreased by 10%, up from 20%. We've got the 500mm barrel as well. ADS speed is being decreased by 8% down from 5. Movement speed increased. There's a lot of barrels and stuff changes here. We've got the AS44 as well. ADS movement speed decreased with the barrel. We've got the ZAC precision barrel on that one too. So that one has now an ADS, slower ADS as well, and increases bullet velocity. So they've now added bullet velocity stats to most of the barrels. This is kind of one of the reasons why I didn't really think they needed to add 10 attachments into this game. It just made no sense. They made some adjustments to the assault rifle alpha, which is the STG as well. So the initial recoil has been increased. So that means there's more recoil on the gun. And now it does give you more bullet velocity as well. We've got changes to the assault rifle Bravo. We've got the changes to the bar as well. They've made it so that you get the long range barrels and the close range barrels, and you get a mix of those. It seems like they've done pretty much the same thing for every single weapon here. They've not really changed any damage profiles from the looks of things. It's just kind of bullet velocity, aim down sight times, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of the guns are going to feel very, very, very different because of the ADS times. And there's so many changes here to every single weapon. PPSH 41, the Rat, the Sten, we've got the Submachine Gun Charlie once again. This is just something we're going to need to test out over time, but these are like absolutely tons of changes. It's going to be hard to say for sure what is actually happening here, to be perfectly honest with you. You've got new operators, which is cool, and the size of the update, which is here as well. So there we have it. Those are all the patch notes. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to sub to the channel as we try to reach our goal of 50k. Also, click the link in the description and subscribe to our second channel. The patch notes will be linked in the description down below because there is a ton here. And thank you very much for watching.